Okay, what should our thumbnail be for National Treasure? I feel like we need, like, a Declaration of Independence.
I have one of those, and I forgot it.
What?
A Declaration of Independence.
Do you?
Yeah,
Wow,
I actually
bummer.
have 2 of them.
Do you really? Oh, wait, you have an America Cup. We could definitely use the America Cup. Welcome back to Ever Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Ever Disney Movie Ever. Today I have Tony.
Hey.
And we are going to talk about National Treasure. So I've already filmed the parts that are like, the movie with this director and who stars in it. So we'll just jump right into the notes section after that. National Treasure is a 2004 theatrical release. It is directed by Jon Turteltaub, cinematography by Caleb Deschanel, editing by William Goldenberg, music by Trevor Rabin, and it's written by Jim Kouf and Cormac and Marianne Wibberley. The film stars Nicolas Cage as Ben Gates, Diane Kruger as Abigail Chase, Justin Bartha as Riley Poole, Sean Bean as Ian Howe, and Jon Voight as Patrick Gates. Oren Aviv and Charles Seegers developed the idea in 1997, and Jon Turteltaub started developing in 1999. It was supposed to go to Touchstone Pictures in 2001, and then there was no clarification of if it went to Touchstone Pictures and then came back to Disney, if it just like got sold to Disney. There was no clarification on when it became like a Walt Disney theatrical release and not a Touchstone release. The film was shot mostly on location in Washington, New York, Philadelphia, and Utah. They shot on the replica of Independence Hall at Knott's Berry Farm instead of the actual Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And they also, all the Arctic scenes are filmed in Utah. The most unrealistic thing about this movie is that the Declaration of Independence still has very visible ink on its front. That is inaccurate. It's very faded. You can barely make out anything on the Declaration anymore. Which makes total sense because of damaging lighting and that it's like 300 years old. Like, it's a very old document. My cousin Mariah and I just saw the Declaration in August, and it is extremely faded. You can like maybe make out at the very top, like Congress part, but the rest of it, it's like basically gone. It's so faded. Many points in the film are historically accurate though. The film had a $100 million budget and made $347.5 million in the box office, which isn't like, you know, a smashing success, but it made more than twice what it took to make, which is always like at least a decent moment. Has a 46% Rotten Tomatoes, which I can't believe. I thought this had a higher, everyone loves this movie. I thought this had a higher rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's crazy. Roger Ebert said this movie could be a Monty Python movie in like a negative way, and I was a little bit upset to see that. It obviously has a sequel that came out in 2007, and then, as I'm sure most people know, a third one has been rumored and talked about forever. Jerry Bruckheimer, producer, said in 2020, that a third one was in development and a Disney Plus series was in development. And then, obviously the Disney Plus series has been announced and is an actual reality. But then in 2022, Nicolas Cage in an AMA said that because of the TV series, he thinks that a third one probably won't happen, which makes me so sad. I want a third one so bad.
I feel like I'm like really biased towards this movie.
Oh yeah, for those who don't know, Tony loves National Treasure and Nicolas Cage.
I love it.
So that's why she's here today.
So everything's perfect, the end.
10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10 out of 10. I love this movie 100%.
Yeah.
Think it's entirely entertaining. Cinematography speaking, it's obviously good. The movement is insane, and the coverage is incredible. Like, the amount of stuff they have to choose to cut to, you can tell, is really, really great.
Yeah.
For me, I thought the lighting was, like, pretty, like, what you would expect. Yeah. I don't think they went any adventure time with lighting. I think I expected... I mean, I feel like I remember the lighting being better. I feel like I expected it to be better because by this point, I've watched Pirates of the Caribbean. And the lighting in Pirates of the Caribbean is insane.
Yeah.
So I think I expected it because it's Jerry Bruckheimer produced to be a similar vibe lighting-wise, and it's not. But the movement and the coverage is insane in this movie.
You bringing that up, that's interesting because I feel like it isn't like overly adventure lighting, which is nice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not like sepia everywhere. Like
Right,
what you would
that,
think.
right. Yeah, definitely no filters that make it like super dramatic
Yeah.
or super like warm because it's an adventure treasure hunt movie. It's
Yeah.
very like realistic lighting for where they are in like Washington, New York, Philadelphia, all that kind of stuff. I just wish like maybe there would have been a couple more creative choices of like how scenes were lit. But they shot on location like 98% of the time, so I get why they couldn't have been like
Yeah.
super artistic in their lighting choices. The frame that I always like smile at and laugh at is when he's in the first treasure room and it's like the movie poster when he
Oh,
puts the
yeah.
torch down. And I'm like, movie
Movie
poster!
poster.
I'm always like, it's a movie poster!
I think about that and it's like, who would ever do that with a torch?
I know you're gonna like burn yourself. Like, what are you doing? But it's cool. Looks cool.
Yeah,
He looks
it's a
pretty
good
neat.
poster.
It is a good movie poster.
Well, like you said, that there are a lot of like camera angles and stuff, and that like brings
Mhm.
into it.
Yeah, they have a lot of choices, which is
Yeah.
really great. I love at the very beginning the reveal of Ben Gates as an adult is a match edit
Yes,
of
that
the
is
motion
true.
of the kid and then him. I think that's awesome. We
Yeah.
stand a moment like that. And then I think the edit itself shines the most in the stealing scene. Stealing the
I'm like
Declaration.
thinking of the song that happens when that happens.
Bam!
Yeah.
Edit-wise, the Stealing the Declaration of Independence scene, I think is where the edit shines the most.
Oh,
The intensity and the pacing in that scene, like through that entire sequence. Like you're following not only Ben and Riley trying to steal the Declaration, you're also following Ian and his team trying to steal the Declaration. You're also following Abigail trying to put
Yeah.
the pieces together about who the frick Paul Brown is and why he gave her this really rare George Washington campaign button and like all that kind of stuff. Like it's just so well timed and pieced together, like, and you feel the stress of like he doesn't want to be stealing the Declaration of Independence, but he has to protect it from Ian. And you see the differences in like how they're trying to preserve the Declaration when trying to steal it, and preserve life, and preserve like they're just going about it a more like brain way versus a more brute way. And then there's Ian like breaking into everything and
Yeah.
shooting people with tasers and like all that kind of stuff. So that entire sequence from when like he starts to come into the party through the security. Actually,
I agree.
truly, from when she opens the campaign button and they're testing like the
Oh,
different
yeah,
ways
yeah.
there. So truly, it's like them planning from the Library of Congress all the way to the car chase
Yes.
with Abigail getting caught. I think that entire sequence is like untouchable. I think if you showed that sequence, it stands alone and people would be able to follow and understand and think it's really good.
Totally.
Yeah.
I feel like that's similar to in the end when they finally like are with Ian during, I don't know how to explain this scene, but like when he gets the Declaration from them.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
they
yeah.
drop it in the street and everything, and he jumps behind the counter and all that, or she does.
Yeah. That scene, so that chase scene where they're all on foot. I call it like the on foot in Philadelphia chase scene because they were just at Independence Hall and everything.
Yeah.
I think that chase scene, while obviously good because you have the different pieces, you have Abigail and Riley going one way, you got Ben going another way, and they have the different pieces, you got Ian trying to, whatever. I think it goes on a little too long.
Yeah.
Never have I thought that until I was watching it yesterday,
Mhm.
Monday. I don't know when I watched it. This week. I was like, oh, you know what? Smidgen too long.
I could see that.
But like for the like I don't care. It's a good movie.
Yeah.
Entertaining, whatever. But just in that moment, I was like, oh, you know what? This could be like maybe 30 seconds shorter.
I see what you mean.
Like they could have
Yeah.
just had it end, maybe Ben gets arrested right away. Like a little sooner or whatever else, because the true end to that scene is him getting arrested
Yes.
by the FBI, which puts an end to it. So then Abigail and Riley have to then partner with Ian or whatever else. So, but editing wise for the whole course of the movie, I think it's really well paced. The movie's a very fun adventure. You get clues at the right time, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would agree.
I love that for you.
I
don't
love love the music.
I mean,
I'm not kidding. I've like thought of like, okay, how can I have a violin player play this at my wedding?
I love that. I'm obsessed with that. I also love the music. I think it's an iconic theme. I think it lives in your brain. I think you can pick it out of a lineup. Like, if you played... Like, I feel like people don't think this, but I think it's up there with, like, the Pirates of the Caribbean theme, the Jaws theme, the Harry Potter theme. I think it's very recognizable music. I think it fits the movie very well.
Yes.
And it's fun.
It is so fun.
I love the historical accuracies that they have in this, but I also think the stuff that they made up for the movie fits so cohesively with the historically accurate stuff, and it is very convincing. Like, I buy it.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing that's so fantastic. You know, it's not like some fantasy movie where there's like a fantasy element to it, like magic or something like that. Like, it's all very based in the history and the reality, and makes it very convincing. So it's like woven together so well that it's like where fiction is, history comes into play, and just I really, really liked how well they made those two mesh together. They didn't go, oh hey, what if this character or this person in history actually was just this?
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They based it very much on what those people were. You know, the founding fathers. These people were, you know, fighting for this freedom and all that kind of stuff. So wouldn't they also want to fight to not have a treasure be just for one person and all that kind of stuff? I really liked that. And then also, the movie's just fun.
Yeah.
This is just a fun movie. Like, I feel like no one can hate this.
Yeah. You
know, I'm sure there are people that are like, it's fine, but like, you had fun. Treasure hunting movies are hard to pull off.
I think that's why I meant, like, it's perfect, but like a perfect treasure hunt movie. Because it is, I have like this interest towards historical things, and like I feel like everybody at one point in their life was like, I kind of want to be like in a treasure hunt, you know? Like when you're a little kid, and I don't know.
There are very few treasure hunting movies that like are like this. Obviously, The Goonies. The Goonies has all the same like nuggets that National Treasure has that make it a fun and good treasure hunting movie. And I feel like it's so hard to do. There have been so many movies that try to be a treasure hunting movie, and you like lose the people in whatever aspect of it. In the clues, where it's like, all right, well, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be believable that no one has discovered this treasure until now, but also that someone can discover this treasure. Like, there's such a fine balance, and then like it has to be fun in like all the booby traps and clues and all these things that you're doing are like fun but believable. Like, you can't go so far out to be like, alright, well, what's the point of that? Like, that's stupid.
And like the other element of having like another team try to get it too.
Right, that's what I think. So National Treasure has no like fantasy element, you know? Like, their drive is his family has always just wanted to find this, you know, alleged treasure, but then you have Ian who's in it for the greed and the money, and he wants the treasure to himself and to share it like the Gates family would want to. So that's the driving factor there, which is really great. But it's just proof of like Ben Gates has studied his whole life for this, where Ian is like, I just heard about it and now I want treasure.
Yeah.
I just want treasure. Silence is a name. Look, I'm smart. Like,
yeah.
You know, where like he literally reads the thing, he's like, okay, well, silence too good. And then it's like, that's in the back burner, while he's like, what else is written here? Iron Pen, Declaration, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Because he's studied it for like 20 years, or whatever else.
Yeah.
But I think this movie, it's just so fun. Lines that will always get me is entrails cut out and burned the way he delivers burn.
I love that part.
And then also when she comes flying out on the door and he goes, oh no. Just is so real, and it makes me laugh. There's just so many. And then Riley obviously has a million lines that are just iconic.
Yeah.
And just make
I love all the lines.
You love every piece of dialogue.
I can like tell you most of them.
I know you can.
It's insane.
The one thing I think is hilarious that I feel like no one ever talks about is Thomas Gates, who gets the message and it creates this whole Gates family thing, is played by Jason Earles, who is Hannah Montana's older brother.
Yes.
And no one talks about this.
Yes.
No one
I'm
talks
always like,
about...
That's Jackson.
I know. I'm like, no one talks about the fact that Hannah Montana's older brother is in National Treasure, and it drives me insane.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think my favorite scene of acting in this movie is the non-verbal communication that Abigail and Ben have when he's trying to tell her that the Declaration is going to be stolen. She says something and, like, has a facial reaction, and he keeps going with what he's saying, but has a facial reaction back to her. And I am obsessed with that every time I watch this movie, and they have that little exchange. I'm like, oh, it's so real, because, like, have you ever been speaking to someone, and they're, like, reacting to you, and they have a reaction, and you're still saying what you're saying, and you see their reaction, so then you have a reaction back to them while you're finishing what you're saying? I'm, like, it's so genuine, so real, and is literally perfect, and gives so much said in that scene without saying anything. He's saying what needs to be said when he's trying to tell her that the Declaration's going to be stolen, but you know, she never has to say, I don't believe you. She never has to say, you're full of shit. She never has to say anything. She just goes, like, does a face, and he's like, oh, you're already there. Okay, great. And it's just...
Did Bigfoot take it?
Yeah, that's the part where they're like, okay, bye. Yeah. Nice meeting you. But, oh my gosh, no, just that it's the smallest moment in the entire...
I want to go back and watch that part just to, like, notice what you're noticing.
We'll have to... I'll put it up.
Okay, cool.
I'll show you. Cool. I can get it right on here.
I think that is one thing I could think about that maybe I would want more of is, like, the whole Freemason thing. It's like... Because they don't really, like, go into it. I don't know. And then, like...
It's, like, a very brief story at the beginning.
Yeah. And then it, like, circles back to it being, like, oh, he's connected to it. I don't know. I guess I wish... Maybe in, like, the second one they got more into that or something. Sure. Just to, like, tie up loose ends.
Who do you think gives the best performance in the movie?
Nicolas Cage.
That's the correct answer, because he's the one in the majority of the movie.
Yeah.
And he does give the best performance in the movie. What makes you love Treasure Planet? Or Treasure Planet? National Treasure? It's got treasure in it.
Yeah.
What makes you love National Treasure?
I just love it. I don't know. I really don't know. I just like
when did
really
you first
like
see it?
I'm not sure if I saw it in theaters. I feel like I would have because 2004.
Yeah.
That's when my parents had a theater, and I like lived there. So I feel like I probably would have watched it. But I do remember watching it on this like little DVD like player that you could like bring around.
Yeah, portable DVD player.
Yeah.
Got you.
And I watched it like so much on that. Like over and over and over and over and over again. So I don't know. I just like really like it. I feel like it's like a perfect movie.
When I was younger, Riley Poole was my everything.
Oh yeah.
Justin Bartha, call me. Like I literally when I was younger I was like I'm in love with Riley Poole. Yeah. He's funny and he's handsome. Sign me up. And he's like who I would be in this treasure hunt besides like being smart on the computer. I would have been the one like I'm terrified. Can we please get out of here? We're stuck. We're gonna die. It would have been me, probably. So, I had a massive crush on him. Still true. He's very handsome. I know I said, like, the cinematography, like, the lighting's not adventures, whatever. These aren't, like, complaints. No, my complaint, if I'm to make a complaint, is the kiss. I think the kiss is so random. I get it, but like it's that I hate that. I hate that trope. I hate the trope of like get this kiss in at this moment. It's like no, wait till you survive the thing to have a smoochie, okay? Yeah.
And they honestly could have just not had it, because you know what happens to them in the end. It's just
right. And they have that cute little like oh you got the girl. Yeah. And he's like that's true, and they do a little smoochie, and it's great. You don't need the kiss on the tunnel down when they're literally like being held at gunpoint and gonna die going down this like broken staircase. Like,
and not that everything has to be realistic, but that would like never happen.
Right, and it's so like I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way every time. Every time we start to go down that tunnel, I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna discover the treasure soon. I'm so excited. And then he goes, come here, and kisses her. I'm like, oh yeah, I hate this.
That was like a Nicolas Cage movie you just did.
Oh yeah. Yes,
I don't know. I could just see it.
No, I don't know. I hate. The older I get, the more I hate kisses like that. So
I
like,
totally agree.
Anytime I see a movie and there's like this huge climactic moment, you're about to go do this thing, and they're like, oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh, no, I hate it so much. The kiss after they just had fallen off, like he had to drop her, that would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to do a kiss at a weird climactic moment,
I hear you on that
like,
one.
why going down this tunnel of Parkington Lane? Why
Yeah.
not after you just dropped her onto a shady staircase and you saved the declaration and you're both like, I'm sorry, and she'd be like, I would have done the same thing to you. Mac, if you're gonna do it there. Like, I don't know, gross.
I feel that way about, like, kid relationships in movies. Especially when they have, like, nothing to do with it and it's just like, oh, we have to have somebody, you know? Like,
yes.
It's like, okay.
My bigot, yeah, that's...
Like, forced relationships just to have, like, that love moment is so annoying.
Yes. I mean, I'm sure there's...
I mean, this movie kind of makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But it's also,
it's a little more motivated.
Yeah.
And they do a little bit more establishing than other movies that are like this, where they're like, oh, because it's a man and a woman, they have to fall in love.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do they, though? Because a lot of the time, it's gross. And it's only been 2 days.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Ooh. So, yeah, no.
Yeah.
100%. They've heard me say 1,000 times this love story was so unmotivated, it's gross. Like, I just don't understand why we did it. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
I say that all the time. This, I'm fine with it. Abigail and Ben are great.
But I could agree with the kiss.
But yeah, the kiss, it's just like, if you're gonna have it somewhere else. It's just the worst spot for it. It's so, like, out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which, like, I get is the point. Because it's like, oh, we've been through all of this together so far and we might die. So I'm gonna kiss you. And it's like, okay. But, like, also, you might die. You're not, okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been in that situation, so I guess I don't know what I would do. Anyway, the fake out with Ian, so good. I've always loved, like, the status quo change, and, like, Riley being totally in the dark, like, probably most of the audience was, except the people who knew it was 2 by sea or whatever. 2 if I land, 1 if I land, 2 if I sea. So, once he leaves, the whole vibe changing, and then being like, Riley, we're gonna be fine, and she's like, okay, the British came by sea, it was 2 lanterns, not 1, what's going on, is so good, and it's just proof that, like, Ian's doesn't know anything. Because, which he's British, so why would he know? Which is a whole other thing. He's British, and they're American.
Yes.
A whole parallel there.
Totally. I do like the, or first the fake out thing. They do that again with the declaration. I like that part as well. Like, where he realizes it's a fake one.
Yes.
He, like, I don't know. I just feel like that's a good moment. And then the, I love, like, full circle things. Mm-hmm. So I love that, like, they brought back the pipe. But it is, like, funny that they would just happen to have it still. He's just like, oh.
Well, I thought it was convenient, though, because I thought about that. I thought earlier in the movie, because I know, obviously, the key to get into the room is Charlotte, the pipe. The secret lies with you. But I realized at some point that Ian had the pipe. And I was like, how does he get the pipe back? He needs the pipe I'm like, does he not get the pipe back in the story? And he just randomly has it at the end. I was like, no way. But then, it's at the end, like, where they made the deal with Ian, and he goes, here's the glasses, here's the pipe.
Yeah.
Here's the whatever. So then he takes it all. You see him take it all and put it in his jacket. And he's like, okay, Ian, toodles, or we'll call the police. And then that's when he has Jon Voight.
I forgot about that part.
So
it does kind of, like, tie it up.
That made me be like, okay, so we know he has the pipe, because he literally did, like, here's this. So it's only...
Yeah.
Actually, I think he has everything by the end of it. I don't know where the declaration is when they're down there. I don't know who's carrying it. Abigail, maybe? I think they have everything at the end right there.
Because they about drop it.
Yeah. So I think they have all of their things. They have the glasses, the pipe, and the declaration all at the end in that area. So I paid extra close attention because I knew, like, he had lost the pipe because it was with so-and-so, Ian. And I was like, how's he get that back? Because I know he needs that at the end. I'm gonna pay attention. What would you rate it, Tony?
What are we rating it?
It's
like
something. Well, we can decide. Oh, well, Declaration of Independence I feel like it has to be, or glasses, or the Liberty Bell, or $1, or just pick an item. Have you ever seen the Declaration at the National Archives?
No.
Really?
I went to the, you know how like 5th grade, whatever,
Yeah,
Washington, D.C. I went on this trip because of National Treasure.
Love that.
And then I was
That was like right after you probably saw that movie too.
Yes.
You were probably like,
I was
let's
like,
go.
Gonna sit here. I know he was here. Blah blah blah. We didn't go to that though. It was like
you didn't
closed.
go to the National Archives?
Yeah, it was like closed for some reason.
So we just went in August.
Oh yeah.
And saw it. And
You're,
it
like
is
acting out the scenes.
No.
Just kidding. I'd be like on the floor like.
But it is.
Sorry.
You can't read it. There's like no more ink on it.
Really?
Yeah, like you can maybe make out the word Congress at the top, but then you can't. And maybe John Hancock's like faded signature, but it's like almost like you can't read any of it.
That's so interesting. Affinity Cajillion.
I love that. My final rating is a 9 declarations out of 10.
Cool.
Only because the cinematography is not a 10. Okay, fair enough. I think the writing's a 10. Okay, everybody relax. So yeah, 9 declarations out of 10. Total movie count is... Parent death toll and cry count. Wait, does he say his mom died ever in the movie? He never says his mom dies, right? She's just not there.
Yeah.
They never even talk about her ever.
I think that she doesn't die. She's in the second one.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
They're just divorced.
That's right.
Yeah.
See, it's convenient that they say she doesn't die. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot she's in the second one. I haven't seen the second one in so long. Probably since theaters. I haven't seen the second one in forever. Okay, so Parent Death Toll and Cry Count are still the same. If you want to keep up with Movie Watching When, follow me on Instagram and Twitter to find out what movie I'm watching when. Tony's being wishy-washy about whether or not she wants me to say something. So, because I love her to death, I'm plugging your Instagram! Go follow Tony on Insta!
I mean, that's fine.
She posted a cute little... She's in pottery class.
Yes.
And I'm very excited. So go follow her on the gram. Thanks for being here.
Oh my gosh, thanks for having me.
Thanks for
this movie
driving. Oh, I love you. Thanks for driving all the way out here to me. Until next time, come like, subscribe, I'm not a judge of your life. You are. See you, and don't be Ian about it.
Yes.
Ian sucks.
The worst.
The worst.
When I was looking up stuff for this movie, I saw a BuzzFeed quiz.
Oh.
And I was like, we should do it.
We should do it. Should we do it now?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I can show you that scene, the nonverbal scene. What's the BuzzFeed quiz?
I wanted to
What
do
is
it, but then I was like, I should wait. Because I don't know, I just think it's fun. And what if I get one wrong? I'll be devastated.
Can you pass this National Treasure Trivia quiz? Is that what it is?
Yes.
All right, let's go.
Oh my gosh, so hot.
What is Nicolas Cage's character's name? Okay. Bill Gates. What do you think it is?
Well, I know, but
It's Ben Gates. You're right. Correct. Look at this.
I love him. Oh my gosh.
Here you go for reference for everyone. There you go.
Love him.
Okay. What clue does Ben find at the first location, the Charlotte? I'm just gonna do it. Yeah. Okay. I'm like you can tell me if I'm wrong. Ian, the bad guy, is initially Ben's investor for finding the treasure. Why do they split up? Ian thinks Riley is bad at hacking. Ian thinks Ben is bad at figuring out puzzles. Ian doesn't care about the treasure hunt anymore. Ian wants to steal the Declaration of Independence, and Ben doesn't want to. Yes, look at us go. Ben and Riley try to warn the FBI and Ian's plans, but nobody takes them seriously. What does Ben convince Riley they must do? Steal the Declaration of Independence!
Oh my gosh, I wish these were like super hard.
Ben attends a gala at the National Archives to carry out his plan. Why does Ben get stopped when leaving the gala? Someone thinks he's stealing. The cashier at the souvenir store accuses Ben of stealing something without paying for it first. Not something. A Declaration of Independence copy. Which is hysterical. And I thought it'd be good to have a duplicate, but technically I had to pay for the real one too, so you owe me $37 and whatever cents it is.
Yeah.
What ingredients do they use to read back the Declaration? Oh, lemon and heat.
Of course. That's a thing.
Riley has a moment when he finally knows something about history that Abigail and Ben don't know. What was Riley's point about? Daylight savings time. Look at her face. Amazing. What does Ben find in the brick at Independence Hall? A pair of bifocals.
Of course.
Benjamin Franklin invented something just like this. I think he invented these. So good. Who says someone's got to go to prison, Ben, at the end of the movie? FBI guy!
Sadusky. I don't know how to say that right.
Yeah, Sadusky, I would say. There's no N, so there's not Sandusky. How much of a finder's fee did Ben accept to Riley's disappointment? They offered Ben 10%. And Riley has 1%.
I think he says 0.5%, really.
But that's Riley.
Oh.
How much did Ben accept?
Yeah, Ben, I think it is 1%. Oh, wait.
I'm not sure, though, because he said you could have had 10%, and they said it was too much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
So
no!
Maybe it's 5?
I feel like maybe.
Because they don't clarify how much he took. And then Riley says,
I feel like it is
here
5.
I sit on 1%, really 0.5%, really.
Yeah.
So Riley accepted 1%.
Yeah.
I'm going 5.
We were wrong. It is 1%.
1%, but that's not what Ben accepted.
I don't think that's
not
true.
what Ben accepted. The quiz is wrong.
Because he goes, 0.5%, really. Did you know in that scene he has a wig on?
Riley?
Yes.
Why?
Because this was like they, for some reason, had a break. Like they had to go back and film this scene.
Sure, that's reshoots.
And
sure.
He was with his friends one night, and he was like, I always wanted to shave my head bald. And they were like, let's go do it. And he did it, and as soon as he did it, he was like, oh, crap, I have a shoot next week. And then he called his person, and they were
oh my
like...
God.
Well, I sit on 1%.
Well, I sit on 1%.
Yeah.
1 stinking percent.
I knew his was 1%. Weren't they asking about...
Right, they were asking about Ben.
Yeah, which they never say.
So they said 10%, and they say it was too much. We didn't accept that. So we don't know what percent he accepted. Trick question. Stupid BuzzFeed.
Question.